Hello and welcome to another edition of Straight from the Training Ground, the podcast where we share our love for the beautiful game and the people out in our communities doing beautiful things. And this week, we're very excited to have someone with a different aspect on soccer, Erica Mulholland. She is a speed and strength coach. She also has her coaching C license. She played at Johns Hopkins University, where she was just recently inducted into their Hall of Fame. She was a Division III midfielder of the year when she was in college. She was an All-American. She played semi-professionally in Brazil. Her work has been featured in Women's Health Magazine, USA Today, Stack, Live Strong, just to name a few. And she has worked with some athletes, just a few to be mentioned, at the University of North Carolina, Harvard, Columbia, Michigan, Northwestern, Maryland. So, Erica, thank you very much for talking to us a little bit about female athletes, strength training, and some injury prevention ideas.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, as we talked a little bit before. I coach girls. I've coached girls for a long time. So, this is something on a personal level very interesting to me as a coach. And I know this is what you have devoted your life to now. Please talk about a little bit about what you do professionally and kind of what was your background in soccer growing up.
Yeah, sure. So I played soccer since a really young age, started around age 6, and I was actually in the rec system until I went to high school. So I didn't enter the travel system until around age 13, 14 years old, which is very odd nowadays when you talk to the average person.
Yeah.
But for me, it worked out, and I developed a passion really young. I didn't feel like it was pushed on me. I just really love the game, and also playing rec, I had the freedom to do other sports and to build other motor skills and my different muscle groups, so I wasn't overusing. So I ended up getting serious about soccer when I got into high school, and that's when I wanted to play at the college level. It was my dream, what I wanted for myself. My parents were really just there to support me, and I ended up getting a lot of D1 offers, actually, from Big Ten schools, ACC schools, and I turned them down. And, back then at that time, it wasn't that crazy. But if you say that to someone today, it's a little crazy. But
Yeah.
I ended up choosing Johns Hopkins because it was a small school. I wanted to go for the academics. And also, when I took my campus visit, I really liked the team culture. And I realized that it was going to be another 4 years of playing and being with a group of girls, being with the coaching staff. And that was important to me. So I ended up choosing Johns Hopkins, and I'm really glad I did. I went in as a freshman, started all the games up until senior year, and left an impact on the program. Love the girls on the team. We all got along really well, which is a little surprising for a team of 34 women. But yeah, it ended up being a really great experience. And we just had so many good team traditions, and it was just so much fun. So after college, I went to coach in Brazil. I wanted to work with kids and volunteer down there. So I spent a year in Brazil coaching in the favelas, which are the poor communities of Rio de Janeiro. And I loved it. I loved seeing that side of the game where everyone was just passionate and it didn't matter like what equipment or resources they had. So that was really life changing. And then when I came back, I knew I wanted to work with youth. I never really had the dream to work my way up to working with professional athletes. I've always wanted to work with kids because I think you can really leave an impact there. And I started to get a passion for the strength and conditioning side of things because when I came back to the States, I was seeing a lot of overuse injury problems. The ACL injuries were rising in youth female soccer players. And I wanted to be part of the solution, not the problem. So I went back to graduate school, got certified in strength and conditioning, got my master's degree, and I've been doing it for almost 14 years now. So yeah, it's definitely flown, but I love doing it and just happy to impact the game.
That time in Brazil must have been amazing too. And your college team, the culture is what makes a lot of difference to everybody within a team. So it's great to hear that. And before we go on our next question, I actually want to stop and go back to the injury and the ACL mention that you just mentioned. Obviously, it's a very hot topic. It has been for a long time. Um, what are your thoughts on specialization? You mentioned when you were growing up that you were able to play a lot of different sports because you weren't committed to that club thing all year round. Do you think specialization has an impact on that? Is it a good thing, a bad thing in your opinion?
I think it can have a bad impact on a lot of these ACL injuries happening. And we see a lot more pediatric ACL injuries happening in girls ages 13 to 14. So if they're only getting that same muscle exposure through just soccer all the way up to that point, then something is going to break down. A lot of them are weak in the hamstrings. They're weak in the core. They're also weak in the upper body. You need a strong upper body to be able to control your momentum when you're decelerating, and that's when ACLs happen. It's during a plant. So I think girls really just need that variety in those younger years, and mainly through free play and trying different activities and trying sports that can transfer to soccer. So for example, I did lacrosse and it helped me pick my head up more because it was all hand-eye coordination. And of course that helps with soccer. My head was always on a swivel. I can make fast decisions in a tight space. And there's also a lot to be said about slow reaction times causing ACL injuries. There's a great research paper written by Jason Abadijian back in 2021, how slower reaction speeds can cause bad lower body mechanics. So if young girls are specializing really young, they're constantly in the same environment. There's no spontaneity behind it. There's no reacting to different stimuli. So yeah, I think there's definitely a piece to that. Do I think specialization is going to go away? Probably not. I mean, we're kind
Yeah.
of in a deep hole right now, but my recommendation would be just try and get as much variety as you can outside of your primary sport, or just have a hobby. It doesn't mean you need to be on another travel team. Just be on a rec team and have fun with it. It doesn't need to be serious. Get in the gym. Girls as young as age 11, 12 can get into a gym environment. It doesn't mean we're going to be doing barbells. It means we're going to be learning the movement patterns, how to control our bodies, and then we eventually load with weights.
If anybody's listening, age 11 and 12, you can start that early, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the girl has to be ready to do it too. I found that, some girls who are age 11, they might not want it right away, and it's their parent pushing them towards
Sure.
it. But I think if a girl waits till age 12 or 13, that's fine too. But yeah, it is really important that girls work with a coach. Ideally, I know not everyone has access to it, but there is a risk with learning weights. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to be under the guidance of a true professional if people are really serious about reducing ACL risk.
And especially those younger ages, would you agree? Getting
Yes.
started, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So along those lines of strength training, I've coached girls for a long time, and sometimes it's difficult the mindset to get girls to start, lifting and weight training. And there's a lot of things out there about lifting during the season, not lifting during the season, what time, periodization, all these kind of things. What kind of advice do you have to coaches out there, whether it's high school, club, people who coach, female athletes? What advice do you have to them about strength training with females, during the season, all those kind of things?
Mhm. Yeah, so during the season it can be really, really simple. I get why people are afraid that maybe the girl is overdoing it on top of soccer, but again, it comes back to working with a professional, or at least getting advice from a professional on how it should be done. If you're doing 3 times a week strength training in season and every exercise is 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 15, that's wrong, because that will cause fatigue, that will cause soreness. So there's a way to go about it so that girls are energized for practice and it doesn't hold them back from practice or cause overuse injury. So in season, I like to keep it just 1 to 2 times a week. If you have the time for two, great. I know schedules are busy, but even just 1 time a week compounded over many months really does wonders. And I've found a lot of good results by just giving them enough of a strength stimulus, as long as they're consistent and they can continue to make those gains in season while also being able to recover faster. I think a lot of people never see strength training as recovery training. It absolutely can be a recovery session because you're moving the body, you're getting the blood flowing, and you're doing such few sets and reps that, again, it's not going to cause soreness. It's only going to help you. And you'll find this interesting at the college level. Most of the teams lift the day after games. That's the template now. That's what everyone's doing. And it makes a lot of sense. It's non-impact activity. It's just slow lifting, get the body moving, and still getting that strength stimulus.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that insight into a lot of the college programs. I think it's also interesting that people always think that you have to do heavy weight or you do the same basic program all the time, like you said, 3 sets of 10 or whatever. There's so many variations, and getting to meet people like you and other strength, coaches, that I think soccer coaches and coaches of other sports, to be honest, can learn from. Those kind of things are from the old days, I'd say, and it's evolved quite a bit. How do you feel in your 14 years now of working with a lot of really high-end athletes, younger athletes? How would you say that you feel it impacts injury prevention, strength training that is, especially for females?
Oh, yeah, so many ways. So, since ACL injuries occur during a quick deceleration, that is all what is called eccentric strength. So, the muscles lengthening and breaking really fast. So, a lot of that comes down to teaching jumping and landing drills properly, but also getting in the gym and doing eccentric strengthening exercises like a slow split squat on the way down, or a single leg squat, or an RDL or deadlift variation. So that's number one. And then also, when you decelerate, you want to make sure your core and your upper body is strong, because oftentimes girls who are very susceptible to ACLs during these movements is they will have a really far forward trunk lean or a wide plant foot, and their shoulder is swaying on top of the plant foot. And that's just a recipe for disaster. And that's due to weak cores and not training that core stabilization as well. So that's how strength really helps. And then also, the hamstrings are super important to strengthen during these movements, because when an athlete decelerates, if the hamstrings aren't strong enough, then the tibia shears forward, which causes the knee to blow out. So we need those hamstrings strong to kind of balance out and pull that tibia back a little bit so that the knee is more stable. So that's just, put simply, how strength training can help. And then just indirectly, I've seen a lot of mental benefits too. I found, just anecdotally, with a lot of girls that strength train with me consistently year round, they're more confident doing these movements on the field. They're more confident to going into tackles. They don't fear injury. And I think a lot of girls fear, oh, the big scary ACL, but it's like, if you're training and you're preparing properly, you don't need to be fearful. And I definitely think fear can have an impact on injuries and maybe become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And we don't want to scare the crap out of our girls. We want to
Yeah.
make sure they focus on strength and speed and deceleration and all these things that help performance. That should be the focus. But then, as a result of focusing on performance, we have healthier athletes.
For just joining us, we're here with Erica Mulholland. She's a strength and conditioning coach. She played Division III soccer at Johns Hopkins and has been doing this for 14 years. You have some, please encourage you to follow her on social media. You have some great stuff, and check out her website. Some great advice, especially for female athletes. So I'm going to pull up your website, Erica, and then while we're doing that, explain a little bit about what are some of the things that you enjoy the most about your job, about working with these young female athletes.
I think just getting them excited about strength training for a lifetime. For me, I get really excited when I see girls I've worked with starting at age 11, 12, and now they're out of college and they're posting on social media how they're still lifting and they're being healthy. So for me, that's like more of a win. Like, obviously, I love that they went to play at a great college soccer program. I think that's awesome. But
Yeah.
if they continue that strength for the rest of their lifetime, because after they retire from the game, you still have to be a life athlete. You still have to take care of your health and have energy and be strong. So I think for me, that's probably my most favorite part of my job, and just really being able to have the time to develop athletes. And I make it very clear to people when they start to work with me, hey, this is not just like you pop in and out and train one session every 4 months. This is a long-term development pathway. And we're going through a program and a progression here, because if I don't have time with athletes, I can't really change their speed mechanics. I can't really get them faster. I can't really get them stronger. So there has to be that consistency piece too. There's no quick fix. I say it on my website at the end
Yeah.
of my bio before they book with me. I'm like, there's no quick fix here. If you want that, please go to someone else. I don't need you.
Yeah. You have to make a commitment. I mean, this is a commitment, but I also love your perspective on the long term. You're really trying to look at it as developing young female athletes that want to continue to be fit and take care of their body, even after they're playing out there, in the adult world someday, which is just an important part of fitness. What advice do you have to high school coaches, club coaches that are out there that coach females that maybe don't have a staff, they don't have a strength and conditioning coach, or maybe they don't have enough assistance where they can devote, time to this, and they don't feel like they're an expert maybe in this, but they know the importance of it and the value of um, you know, injury reduction, strength training for females. What are some things you could tell them or some advice you could give them of how they could work that into their team?
Yeah, so a couple things. Well, first thing, I would encourage all team coaches and clubs to at least have a solid referral network of strength and conditioning coaches that they can refer people to for sessions or just education. I think it's not really good when coaches try to be experts in this, because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, coaches, they're tactical, they're technical, they plan practices on that end. They're masters of those crafts. I don't expect them to be experts in strength and conditioning. I expect the base level of strength and conditioning, but at the end of the day, you should be referring out. But if you want to incorporate some stuff on the field, I would really recommend, at least for the younger ages, like the under 12s, have that variety. Play some different games that work different muscle groups, whether it's like crab walk races to work the core and upper body, or wheelbarrow races. I mean, there's ways you can make it fun, and it can just be in a 5-minute warm up, and just like really sprinkle that in every session, and then compound that over the whole year. And you're really helping these kids develop these muscle groups, especially because everyone is an early specializer now. So we can give them a little bit of that variety within warm up at practice. And then for all age groups, I would recommend also in the warm up, do true speed training. Make sure these kids are reaching top speeds often, 1 to 2 times a week, over 30-yard, 40-yard distances, because not only is it going to improve their speed, but there is an injury reduction component to running an all out sprint. And that's actually strengthening the hamstrings, which helps
Yeah.
stabilize the knee, and then being able to decelerate from that all out sprint. That's really good deceleration training as well. And also, kids love racing and speed training.
Yeah.
So you have the fun component there too. But yeah, speed is, or sprinting is one of the best hamstring exercises you can do. And it's very like low cost. You don't need any equipment for it. You just need a field and have the kids race.
No, I love that. And those are simple things that you can incorporate, like we said, into your training sessions as a coach. And again, Erica, we just really appreciate your time. I know you're very busy. Again, Erica Mulholland, she's a strength and speed coach. Make sure you check her out on social media. Make sure you check out her website. She's been doing some amazing things with female athletes over the last 14 years. She's been mentioned in Women's Health, USA Today, just to name a few places. And worked with some really high level girls that have went on to play Division I soccer. And Erica, we just really appreciate your time. And as a coach of girls, I really value and appreciate all of your insight and all the great work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Until next time, straight from the training ground.